Hey everybody, it's your girl Kri'tek, the authentic Empress, and today we're going to have a very special tarot reading on Miss Ethel Hedgeman Lyle. Now, some of you may be aware that today is Miss Ethel's birthday. However, if you've been following me, you can see that I've been divinely led to begin talking about the discrepancies of these Black Greek sororities and fraternities and the true essence of what it is and how it affects us when it comes to our spirituality and our spiritual advancement. So, I was not aware that Miss Ethel's birthday is literally on today. I literally found this out last night, once again being divinely led. As I began exposing this principality, however, I've been led deeper and deeper into truths and epiphanies and realizations and downloads, from the Most High regarding information that I need to put out about these organizations. So yeah, I was led to look into the founders, like just look more in depth into the founders, and Miss Ethel was brought to my attention, and it's so crazy. Like, so I went on, because I'm just listening, I'm following the my guides, and so I went on to look at her birthday to pull up her birth chart, right? And you guys, her birthday is today, February 10th. If that's not if that's not like a divine message there, divine timing, like, I don't know what will be. So today we're going to go over just a continuation of uncovering the veils of like the true intentions of these sororities. Now, if you've watched the tarot spread that I did when I allowed the ascended masters who are associated with these sororities to give us the truth of the nature of what these people really are about, you will see that the first card that came out was the snake. You guys, I'm going to read some information from Miss Ethel's birth chart, who was born in 1887 in St. Louis, Missouri, February 10th. And the biggest thing that we should pay attention to are the main aspects, right, of a person's natal chart, right? Like sun conjunct, whatever their sun is conjuncting, whatever their moon is, whether there's squares and, all of these things, trine. So this is how we get a better in-depth analysis and understanding of these people's, their makeup, their build, and how they operate, right? Okay. All right, so some highlights that I'm going to make first. We're going to briefly go over the planetary positions and placements of Miss Ethel's birth chart. So, being that her birthday is today, we understand that she is, her sun is in Aquarius. Also, sidebar, the age of Aquarius being the mental, right? A lot of things being exposed to, Aquarius, the moon is currently positioned in Aquarius. We understand the moon to be illumination of secrets, things that are hidden, coming to surface, right? So, once again, her sun is in Aquarius. Her moon is in Virgo. Mercury in Aquarius. Venus in Pisces. Keep these things in mind. Mars in Pisces. Jupiter in Scorpio. Saturn in Cancer. Uranus in Libra. Neptune in Taurus. Pluto in Gemini. Lilith in Pisces. That's a big one. Chiron in Gemini. All right, so we're going to look into the main aspects here. So, her sun conjuncts Mercury. What does this mean? So, okay, let's just go through all the aspects, and we'll be able to make the connections together, right? Even though, I've already went through all of this, But let's go through it. Let's not waste any more time. Sun conjunction Mercury. There can only be conjunction between the Sun and Mercury. People with this aspect are subjective and creative. They can express their ideas well, and they are often very artistic. This is a great aspect for artists who perform on stage. These people are intellectuals, but their thinking is very subjective, and they can sometimes lack objectivity or the ability to see things from the outside. Give me just a second here. Just want to make sure this is what I was reading. Okay. All right. Sun square Neptune. This aspect creates people that are overly empathetic and too willing to sacrifice themselves, and thus they may easily be used by others or cheated. These people should stay away from drugs, alcohol, and tobacco because they have considerable tendencies to use drugs and alcohol to solve their problems. All right. Moon trining Neptune. This aspect gives people the need to search for something transcendental, and this is often the reason why these people tend to be religious or join various esoteric movements. These people are self-sacrificing, and other people often take advantage of them. Their home is quite untidy. This conjunction also gives people a combination of perceptiveness and sensitivity, and the ability to accept the world of higher vibrations. This aspect gives artists great inspiration. Moon trining Pluto. This harmonious aspect brings various intense emotional life, and these people deeply experience their emotions. They want to change their loved ones for the better, and they often openly and clearly express their opinions, even at the cost of conflicts and quarrels. These people experience their emotions very strongly, and they express them openly. Even though they experience strong emotions, they do not have emotional outbursts. They use their feelings to control others. They have a very intense relationship with their mother. Keep in mind, we have to take all of the aspects into consideration, right? So let's keep reading here. Mercury squaring Neptune. This aspect considerably complicates practical life. Eccentric artists and spiritual explorers sometimes have this aspect in their horoscope. These people change their opinions often and unexpectedly. When they get in trouble, they do not hesitate to use lies or deceive themselves or others. These people do not express themselves very well, and they tend to be dreamers. In order to grow, they need to have creative people around them. They often close themselves in their own fantasy world, and they do not have a very good short-term memory. They are aware of their special abilities, but they are not always able to use them. Depending on other aspects, other people may take advantage of them. Others may find it hard to deal with their chaotic thinking and lack of order. Venus conjuncting Mars. This conjunction brings a lot of sensitivity, and these people often get... I want you guys to pay attention to the pattern here of all of this emotion, right? Pay attention. Venus conjuncting Mars. This conjunction brings a lot of sensitivity to these people, brings lots of sensitivity, and these people often get easily offended. They like frequent social, physical, and sexual experiences. They are popular and full of energy. Their confidence often borders on selfishness. They are quick-tempered, but they do not stay angry for long. They like harmonious relationships, so they want to make up quickly. Now, I want you guys to also reflect on the pattern of behaviors and the essence that we see in these women who join these organizations. All right, so just keep that in mind. Venus trining Jupiter. People with this harmonious aspect are kind and cordial. They easily adapt to new social trends and demands, and they like fashion. Vanity. Not saying that just because you like fashion and you know what I'm saying, like beautiful things, that you're vain. But once again, keep everything in mind. Take all of these things into consideration, including how the AKA women how often are often portrayed, and how how they portray themselves, shall we say that. Oh, so pretty. Okay. This aspect brings hospitality and generosity. It is also useful in the case of legal disputes. Venus squaring Pluto. This aspect manifests itself in a very typical way. These people can both love and hate with all their heart, deeply and intensely. They hide their true passion, and usually they have a great fantasy. They want to feel that they are better than others, and this desire manifests by starting a business or by trying to accumulate material wealth. This aspect activates sexuality and sex appeal. It creates similar radiance as harmonious aspects, but it also adds strong jealousy. These people can even become paranoid. All right. Let's keep reading. Mars trining Jupiter. This harmonious aspect gives people energy and activity. People with this aspect need movement, whether in the form of active sport or tourism. They are also eager for new information, so they like to participate in various courses, seminars, and training sessions. Mars squaring Pluto. This aspect is challenging because these people are stubborn and determined. They often hurt other people's feelings with their sharp judgment, and their decisiveness can often lead to big life changes. They uncritically believe in the absolute truth and in their abilities. Keep everything in mind. Saturn squaring Uranus. This aspect is responsible for the fact that these people often have no principles and that they are chaotic. However, it is also possible that they have highly developed sense of order, which is not acceptable to other people. Their behavior is usually unpredictable. These people are often too strict and stiff. Their logic is frequently too rigid. And they sometimes also look down on other people. 12-12 on the timer when I said that. Other aspects. Let's say, okay, so her ascendant is squaring Venus. The positive thing about this aspect is that these people are charming, right? Think about the glitz and glamour of AKA. These people are charming, friendly, and they want to please others. The negative side of this aspect is that they are a bit clumsy when they socialize with other people. Ascendant squaring Mars. The positive thing about this aspect is that it gives people assertiveness, abundant energy, and physical resilience. The negative side of this aspect is that these people may be impatient and they are susceptible to infections and minor injuries. If you do a little research on Ethel, it was described that her health was very delicate in nature. The condition of her health. So she wasn't in very good health. She was also overweight. So gluttony, keep those things in mind. Okay, where were we? Ascendant trining Uranus. The positive thing about this aspect is that it gives people skillful and original behavior. MC conjuncting Sun, the midheaven. In a positive sense, this aspect indicates the ability to succeed using own means or with the help of others. Energy harvesting. Okay. In the negative sense, it indicates difficulties acknowledging own values. Priorities. Midheaven trining Uranus. The positive thing about this aspect is that it gives people... Okay, I already read that. Sorry, you guys. All right. Oh, no, I didn't. The positive thing about this aspect is that it gives people skillful and original behavior that helps them achieve their goals. All right, shapeshifting. I'm speaking what my guides are giving me as I read this information, you guys. And then we're going to, we're going to clarify this with a tarot, right? Got to. All right. Node opposition the sun. Frequent conflicts and tension among the demands of the sun and the tasks of the lunar node that are waiting to be realized. For this reason, the life path of these people is not clear. They are indecisive, chaotic, and they have restraints. Node oppositioning Mercury. The positive thing about this aspect is that it gives people intelligence and good life orientation. They enjoy searching for the background of their motives, and they are able to critically and creatively deal with their personality. They are open toward others. They accept criticism easily, and they do not avoid conflicts. They manage life challenges with the help of their analytical and logical thinking. The negative side of this aspect is that these people may have poor focus on their life path. Their intellect always finds good reasons, because they have it in quotations, good reasons, that stop them from focusing on a set goal. This is the reason why these people are often stubborn, have defensive attitudes, and why they cling to things that put them at a disadvantage. Why they cling to things that put them at a disadvantage. We already saw that she has this type of behavior and this type of addictive behavior within her with food. Okay. Node squaring Neptune. The positive thing about this aspect is that these people are sure of their decisions, and this helps them overcome life challenges. Pure spirituality becomes the focus of their life. The negative side of this aspect is that these people only have vague ideas about their focus and meaning of life, or their sense for life direction is poor. They easily withdraw their focus from what is important. They are not persistent, or all their goals fall apart. Node squaring Pluto. The positive thing about this aspect is that it gives people great and fascinating energy that leads them to the focal point of their life. The experiences of power and powerlessness and the encounter with their own shadow helps them overcome their life challenges and find their life path. The negative thing about this aspect is that it causes inner tension and feelings of obsession because strong forces drag and pull in a different direction than towards the focal point of life. These people often have the feeling that they are the prisoners of misconceptions. Moon contra parallel Uranus. Gotta read this. This aspect brings people the feeling that they have been wronged and they need to do something about it. They often unexpectedly decide to do radical changes. They like chaos and they do not like to lead respectable family life. They love alternative ways of living, and they are individualistic. For this reason, living in a community or family environment does not really suit them. They feel separated from society, complex of separation. These people are predisposed to great emotional tension, imbalance, emotional liability, explosive emotions, and emotional vulnerability. Some of this stuff is repetitive. Okay. Midheaven parallel Mercury. The positive thing about this aspect is that it gives people intellectual abilities, business talent, and good relationships at work that help them succeed. The negative side of this aspect is that it gives people restlessness and distractibility that can jeopardize their success. Node contra-parallel Jupiter. The positive thing about this aspect is that these people are confident in their abilities, and this helps them overcome challenges in life. Their life challenges are often connected with profound sensory experience, and it gives people luck on their life journey. The negative side of this aspect is that there is no harmony between the meaning of life and searching for its focal point. There may be strong internal meaning of life and searching for its there may be strong internal dissatisfaction and excessive unrealistic expectations. These people usually want more from life than they can get, and they push everything negative out. Now, once again, we have to keep all of these things into consideration, right? All right, so we're going to look at her Lilith, which is in Pisces. Fascination with self-sacrifice and blending into others. Fascination with self-sacrifice and blending into others. Prophetic vision or death. Lilith gives these people the ability to feel connected with everything, even with their deepest thoughts in the cosmic soul. These people are often midwives, prophets, and wise men or women. However, they may also perceive life as suffering and succumb to various dubious, mystical ways that they believe bring mysterious abilities or can heal people. Beware of alcohol, foot injury, and loss of consciousness. All right, so her north node is in Leo. All right, and south node in Aquarius. All right, north node in Leo brings the conflict between passionate, sensual, love, and pure friendship. Conflict between egocentric, showing off, and the awareness that they belong to a group. These people need to playfully express their creativity. They need to go on a stage and get some recognition and admiration. What does this sound like? They need to see life as an invitation to play. They have to be careful not to lose their own identity and waste their energy when they get distracted. Follow me. All right. Pluto and Gemini. People with Pluto and Gemini are aware of their intellect, brightness, alertness, and communication abilities. They can make transformation through communication. Now, remember, we read another aspect that said how people with that particular placement that she has can change people or manipulate people with their emotions. All right. So you make the connection with the Gemini and Pluto. Okay. They are intelligent, critical, and impulsive. Let me rewind. People with Pluto and Gemini are aware of their intellect, brightness, alertness, and communication abilities. They can make transformation through communication and have considerable energy in this area. They are intelligent, critical, and impulsive. Their mind never rests. Their spirit and thoughts are greatly influenced by their sexuality, and they are attracted by espionage and crime. All right. Neptune and Taurus. Neptune and Taurus gives people sensual nature and visionary abilities. They like money and art, especially music and theater. Art can help them find a way to liberation and enlightenment. All right, Saturn and Cancer. People with Saturn and Cancer have a sound judgment about things related to houses, land, and families. They are often religious and they tend to study sciences that require deeper thinking. They usually do not react sensitively. Cancer represents an unlimited stream of emotions, and it is in these people's nature to be caring. But Saturn in this position denies it all until these people find out what they really feel and what they want. In order to be truly aware of these feelings, they occasionally have to be forced to feel without support and cut off from their compassion and sentiment. Jupiter in Scorpio. People with Jupiter in Scorpio will be limited by things they consider irresistible, whether they are aware of it or not. Their life philosophy is there is no profit without hardship, meaning profit in either material or mental life. The desire that grows out of this philosophy is truly powerful because it causes yearning for depth, darkness, and mystery. But it ultimately helps them to find themselves. People with Jupiter and Scorpio hate manifestations of superficial happiness, whether it is behavior of other people or of their own. The dark side of their nature is the place where the most precious feelings are hidden. They will go through hell to destroy the weepy and shaggy parts that threaten or hinder the discovery of this preciousness. They may find many opportunities for the sexual dimension of experience while they are searching for depth and catharsis. They will probably emphasize sex in some way during the searching process. Mars in Pisces. Mars in Pisces gives people the opportunity to work in professions whether one does not come into direct contact with the public but exercises his authority in a detached workplace. These people can work, for example, as detectives, prison wardens, or doctors in hospitals. They may also work in desolate places, for example, on oil rigs. People with Mars and Pisces get what they want by delicate or indirect means. They tend to have secret love affairs, and they could successfully hide such relationship from the public eye. Their actions are affected by strong emotional undercurrents, and if they do not want them to negatively influence their efforts to reach their goals, they have to figure out what these emotional undercurrents mean. Venus in Pisces. Venus in Pisces gains importance because love and beauty can be fully expressed in this sensitive, imaginative, and compassionate sign. However, in order to reach the highest point, we must sometimes fail to the lowest point. These people must learn how to best express their universal sense of love. Otherwise, they will be condemned to excessive vulnerability and sensitivity, and their worrying nature will be misused. They consider everything alive and holy, everything from the finest insects to human beings. They may have problems in their intimate relationships due to their love for the whole universe, because in such a relationship, they try to give all their love to a single person or get it from one person. Their partners may feel like they are drowning in love and that they are not able to behave accordingly. It is possible that they will leave and find someone who is not so demanding. Mercury and Aquarius. Mercury and Aquarius people do not care what they write as long as they can write. These people learn foreign languages easily, and they flirt with abstract ideas, scientific predictions, and their intuition. Their mind goes through processes that are connected to the so-called universal mind. So they perceive things that other people find highly unlikely. It can be said that Mercury feels the best in air signs, but it can be a bit shallow in them. These people do not like to study things into the greatest detail. Moon in Virgo. Moon in Virgo feeling of safety is related to order and clarity, even in disorganized. Try being more tolerant and accept imperfections of life. Let me click on this so we can get more info. Try being more tolerant and accept imperfections of life. You may be terrified to show your dark side, but this can unnecessarily include something that your mother considered unacceptable or something that was denied to you in your childhood. Suppressing healthy but problematic passions can turn into a hidden inner desire. Great emotional intensity and suppression of natural emotions can lead you into solitude. It is better to trust life and let it run its own way. Not everything must be according to your expectations. All right. So now we're going to look at the etymology of Ethel, the name Ethel, because I'm just I'm walking you guys to what my guys, how my guys led me. All right. So after I looked into her birth chart, I was led to look into her name. In English baby names, the meaning of the name Ethel is from Adeline, the Old English name meaning noble snake. What did I say? What was the first card that came out in the other reading? Snake. Diminutive of Etheldreda or Etheldreda from the Old English name Athelinthric, meaning noble and strength. Diminutive of Eldreda from Alfred, meaning old counsel or sage. All right, what is the etymology of the word diminutive? A charge of the same form as an ordinary but of lesser size or width. Extremely or unusually small, implying smallness, either actual or imputed in token or affection, scorn, etc. All right, noble snake. So, some of the main points here is drawing those connections of what we see reflected in these sororities, specifically aka sorority, since that is the sorority that I was a former member of. And those main aspects, that we see in these individuals, look on the bottom of the deck, like an emptiness, right? But okay, vanity, being all about appearances, all about attention. Everything they do is, it's a lot of it is for clout, right? Now I'm gonna tell you something else. I was led. Now I heard this a couple of days ago. Probably the day that I did the reading. What I heard was sex trafficking. So I'm gonna do a different spread because this is gonna be like a series. This is going to be a continuation of, going deeper and deeper into like the truth, the actual truths of what these sororities and fraternities are really about and how they are working against us and not for us, right? Now, we understand that we should not operate in a manner where we let our emotions govern everything that we do, like all of our decisions. We understand that we have to be balanced in all of our bodies. All of our bodies are supposed to be interconnected. Your mental body, your emotional body, your physical body, your etheric body. All of those things are supposed to be interconnected so that you can make balanced and harmonious decisions. So as we saw in this, in Ethel's birth chart, there's a lot of imbalanced emotional energy, like an overabundance of emotional energy within her chart. Now, if you also look at the photo of her, she had an unhealthy relationship with food. Another repetitive thing we kept hearing in her chart was about sexuality and emotions, being likely to be taken advantage of. Not going into the depths, of things. So even when I said in the reading when the gods and goddesses, the Egyptian gods and goddesses have spoken, something I had said was that even though they have these Egyptian gods and goddesses associated with these organizations, a lot of those people don't even care to learn and gain an in-depth understanding of these actual gods and goddesses that's associated with these organizations. Because if you did, you would see clearly the, you know what I'm saying, the line, you know what I'm saying, the differences. You know what I'm saying? And how they govern themselves and conduct themselves, especially when it comes to spirituality and manifestation, opposed to these organizations, right? Making you feel like, you know, heart and empty attachments. Okay, let's go ahead and get into this reading. Let's go ahead and get into this spread, because we don't want this video to be too long, right? All right. On the bottom of the deck, mental health. So I'm actually going to, what deck do I want to start with? I'm going to start with Professional High Priestess Ancestral Healing Oracle deck, just to see, okay, what type of imbalances, what are the imbalances that was present in the spirit of Ethel Hedgeman Lyle when she was in the creating process of this organization, because we understand that she's one of the founders. Okay, hold on. Please, divine and loving ancestors, ascended masters, divine ascended masters, the divine council, Egyptian gods and goddesses, any of you high vibrational and divine beings who are here with us today to guide us in truth, justice, and harmony, not restrictions, root chakra, children. So I'm already seeing some of the same cards that I pulled for her last night after I looked up this information regarding her birth chart. All right. Expose this lady to us. Expose this lady to us. What is the spiritual condition? What was the spiritual condition of Miss Ethel Hedgeman Lyle in the creation process of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority? Divine and loving ancestors, what was the spiritual condition? Oh, that's too many cards. That's too many cards. So I already see restrictions. Spirituality came out. We had the patriarch energy come out, as well as altar. But I'm going to put those back in because it was too many. What do we need to know? What do we need to know? We got the Sacral Chakra and creativity. All right. And we got altar again, and mental health and spirituality all came out together. Well, they're on the bottom of the deck. All right, so we can already see the imbalance here, and the fact that Sacral Chakra and creativity came out with, I'm going to have to move my laptop so you guys can see. So we got restrictions, creativity, and Sacral Chakra. So this is a telltale sign of imbalances within the sacral space, which you understand that the Sacral Chakra is the seat of our creativity, the seat of our emotional, like our emotions, right? Emotion, that unbalanced emotional energy. See, I want you guys to pay attention to the repetitiveness of what's being expressed here regarding this individual. So there was obviously some restrictions within, you know, her high vibrational creative nature. There was some restrictions within her Sacral Chakra. So I just heard materialistic. I just heard that. All right. This came out for her last night too. Sex and intimacy. See? And DNA healing. So we got altar, mental health, and spirituality on this side. And then on the back, was sex and intimacy and DNA healing. So definitely a lack of healing within the sacral. All right. Clarify. Do I want to use this one? Oh my God. Expression. Okay. I think I'm going to use this one. Clarify restrictions. Clarify restrictions. Most High, could you clarify restrictions? Clarify restrictions. Mental health. That was 4040 was on the timer when I looked up just now. This is crazy, you guys. Clarify creativity. Clarify creativity. Transformation. Clarify sacral chakra. Prosperity. Didn't I say materialistic? I don't know if you guys can see this. A lack of transformation within her creative nature, within that sacral chakra, right? Once again, talking about that imbalanced energy. Because everything is interconnected. Restrictions. So her mental health was imbalanced here. Got separation, codependency, or avoidant behaviors. Yeah. On a subconscious level. Yeah. Yeah, you guys. So, definitely a lack of spiritual advancement here. With separation, third eye, and spirituality. And, you know, these restrictions on the sacral chakra, you know, this mental illness, the imbalances in her emotional state. So being emotionally unstable or imbalanced, right? Because of that, you know, that can create like excessiveness in different areas, like especially when it comes to the root chakra as well. So like I said, materialistic. Now all of this matters because you have to understand that whatever energy that, you know, she had when she came into the creation of this organization, along with the other people that she was binded with, you know, this is going to affect the people who attach and associate themselves with this organization. It's going to affect their legacy as well. All right, so we're going to pull from the Master Spiritual Warfare deck regarding these cards that we have laid out here. Clarify restrictions and mental health. Relationships. All right. Clarify creativity and transformation. Crown chakra. Clarify sacral chakra and prosperity. Clarify sacral chakra and prosperity. You guys think this is a game? Y'all think this is a game? Y'all think I'm just rambling on and talking about shit, talking about this for nothing? Y'all think I'm talking about this for nothing? This is real. Spiritual warfare is real. These organizations are a principality. Entity attachments. This lady was unstable. This lady was mentally, emotionally, and spiritually unstable. Very shallow in nature. Yeah. Very shallow. Relationships. Restrictions. Mental health. And relationships. All came out together. What I said about that lack of transformation. Look at that. Imbalance in logic versus emotion. Overemphasis on either material or spiritual realm. Mental illness. Disconnect from guides. Distorted telepathy. You guys, this is not a game. This is not a game. Wow. Yeah, so this lady, this individual was bounded to individuals, you know, who, and as a result of who she bound herself with, you know, it's like the concept of soul ties, which is a real look on the bottom of the deck. Spirit. All attacks are spiritual, however, some go above and beyond, attempting to create blockages and delays, and are a full-out attack to kill and destroy. This means that several mechanisms are being used and multiple parties as well. This card can also indicate a need for astral projection and higher level tools for advancement, which we already saw here, that there, because of these restrictions, you know, she wasn't really able to transform into her higher, you know, self, like especially within her sacral energy and her crown, you know what I'm saying, her spirituality. Now also keep in mind what was mentioned whenever we read through her natal chart, right? Look on the bottom. Oh my God. Look what's on the bottom, you guys. Look what's up. Look what's under spirit. Ribs, heart, throat chakra. Yeah. Rips are caused by deliberate events designed to induce stress and trauma within an individual. It is used to allow entities and outside forces to easily take over. Imbalance in empathy, ranging from enmeshment to apathy, and inability to respond properly to emotional displays, respiratory issues. Imbalance in communication, too much or not enough, blocked creativity. Imbalance in use of communication devices, social media, blocking communication with people. And we got co-worker and boss. So yeah, this is something that, you know, as a result, wow. Now, what I just heard was brought back to my attention about traders. That was a card that came out in that other spread that I did when the Egyptian gods and goddesses was basically exposing them for what it was. And literally we got prayer and affirmations, fire magic, solar plexus, and practitioner all together. Now, exposing these rituals as well, right? So these people, you know, they will often have, you know, an altar with a combination of elements such as, you know, air. Like they would have the Bible, you know, they would have us say specific scriptures and stuff like that, or whatever scripts that they developed to serve, you know, for us to repeat in ambiance to this principality. And then you have fire magic. A part of the ritual is utilizing candles as well, that flame. And then you have the solar plexus. So there's even a connection with the fire element in the solar plexus. Then you have practitioner, which a lot of times is tied into sorcery, right? So solar plexus as well is like your will. So let's read. All right. So your solar plexus is basically regarding your willpower, your self-discipline, and your identity. Your identity. Symptoms of, you know, this being imbalanced or impacted is codependency, coping mechanisms, ego to compensate for low self-esteem, debilitated willpower, and attracting narcissists repeatedly, energy harvesting. Can you see that? I'm trying to get it to clear up. Sorry, you guys. I hope you can see that energy harvesting on the bottom there. All right. Did I not say that this is what it is? It's basically like a trap for light beings. You know, them trying to bind themselves with other individuals and swap out karmic inheritances. And not just that, trying to bind with light beings for survival. For that abundant energy to manifest your own agendas, that's like really based in materials, like being materialistic. That's why you see a lot of them very materialistic, and a lot of their focus and value is based on their appearance and what they have. You get what I'm saying? money and titles, you know, different forms of escapism, but not really, you know, wow. Yeah. Who's ever watching this? You need to banish. You need to begin the process of banishing this principality and everything that came with it out of your space, out of your auric field. This is crazy. But this stuff is already been reversing on these people. But like I said, the more that they deceive people into joining, especially light beings and stuff like that, it's like it kind of adds fuel to them. It's like the same pattern that we see with karmic readers who depend heavily on people's debilitated sacral chakra. You know, people having an imbalance, you know, in their emotions, being like emotionally unstable. You get what I'm saying? Like, and they want them wanting to keep you there in order, you know, that's sorcery again, wanting to keep you in that space so that you become codependent on their intuition or their guidance, right? For finances and, you know, for attention, for clout, for their own selfish gain. Rips. Rips are caused by deliberate events designed to induce stress and trauma within the individual. It is used to allow entities outside forces to easily take over. Yeah. So even when we hear about hazing and stuff like that, even though a lot of us don't really see much about hazing like in the physical sense of it, it's still a very real thing spiritually and emotionally and psychologically. So once again, that rips card, you know, inducing, you know, like, what did it say? We got blockages on the bottom of the deck. This is crazy, you guys. This indicates that the warfare against you is designed to manifest an energetic blockage within your energy field, therefore creating blockages in your spiritual life and your material life. So once again, that rips card though, and look, we got holes and practitioner keeps coming out. This is so crazy. This is so crazy. Holes vary from tears and blocks in the sense that they are designed to steal energy versus alter it. It includes reducing protection and harvesting energy through narcissistic tactics and energy cords. So once again, like, there's really no special rites of passage in order to join these individuals. Anybody with a qualifiable GPA and who have the funds can buy themselves into this bondage. And if you lack, you know, the discernment and, you know, the true knowledge and truth of these organizations, as a light being, you can be easily swayed into binding yourself to these, you know, draconic and these demonic, you know, descendants, you know, these descendants of traitors and thieves. So we have to keep these things in mind. Yeah. Definitely spell work. These individuals are definitely doing some spell work here. And something else that I thought of. Oh, you can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. These people not crazy, y'all. These people are not crazy. A karmic is an individual that creates karma in our lives through our association with them. They are a reflection of our lowest selves. This card indicates an individual you have already identified as a karmic partner is facilitating attacks on you. A karmic is an individual that creates karma in our lives through our association with them. Clarify entity attachments. Clarify entity attachments. Clarify entity attachments. Find other ancestors. Holes. Y'all cannot make this shit up. This is the sacral chakra, clarified by prosperity. What did I say about that material being materialistic? Right? Then we had entity attachments, clarified by holes. Purposely inducing and creating holes within your sacral space to energy harvest for prosperity, for material wealth and gain. Vanity. This is why we see this pattern of these individuals being so vain in nature, placing their value on external things. I'm going to read I'm going to read entity attachments and holes again. Keep in mind, this was to clarify sacral chakra and prosperity. Attacks including entity attachments include conjuring entities with specific dark purposes to infiltrate the energy field of the individual. Entity attacks can also occur through the dream state and through sexual intercourse. Clarified by holes. Holes vary from tears and blocks in the sense that they are designed to steal energy versus alter it. It includes reducing protection. When you bind yourself to these individuals, it reduces your protection. Watch the last video I posted about predatory traps. I kid you not, when I crossed November 2016 and December 2016, my phone was destroyed. The week prior to that, I was in a car accident. And not just that, the car accident took place down the road from my house in a graveyard. The minute I got back in contact with these individuals and I participated at this conference or whatever, soon as I entered that damn hotel, a Freemason approached me directly like a magnet, you guys. This is not a joke. This is not a joke. This is very real. This is spiritual warfare. This is very real. Take this serious. Do not take this lightly. Do not get annoyed just because, oh, this video is so long and so wordy. No, you need to sit down and pay attention. You need to listen because this is very real. And you can help spare somebody. You can help spare somebody's legacy and their inheritance. You can spare somebody from getting harmed. Don't you know in Atlanta, Georgia, there was an AKA advisor who was responsible for sex trafficking, girls who wanted to join AKA. Don't you know there's a situation where these two girls died just so they can become an AKA? This stuff is, you have to look beneath the surface of it all. If it's physical, that's a manifestation of what's going on internally. Clarify crown. Clarify crown. Divine Living Ancestors. Wow. Wow. I'm going to tell you what I just heard. This family card came out for crown, creativity, and transformation. And we've already, and then ancestor support. So we've already got the message that this card, you know, these cards came out because of the restrictions and the imbalances, the lack of transformation, right? The lack of transformation here because of the mental illness and emotional imbalances. So this family card, what I heard just now, so think about how it is when your grandmother becomes an AKA, and you know how they insist that, oh, my daughter, you know, should continue the legacy and, you know, and become an AKA, and then her daughter, and then, you know, so on and so forth. So oftentimes, this is what this card says, oftentimes it is family, both immediate and distant, facilitating attacks without our knowing. This card indicates that a family member is facilitating the attacks, and or a relation of a family member is facilitating the harm. Ancestor support. So your ancestors, your grandmothers who were, you know, who lacked, who failed, you know, in you know, like trauma transmutation. That's a part of transformation too, right? Because if we got all these, you know, tears and you know, this imbalanced sacral energy and mental energy as it relates to relationships, you know, a lack of healing here, a lack of healing, and this was passed down, and as a result, you know, wow. Oh my God. Sacral chakra. Candle magic. So once again, that fire. imbalance in logic versus emotion, over emphasis on either material or spiritual realm. Mental illness, disconnect from guides, distorted telepathy. Because of this lack of transformation and this lack of healing, you know what I'm saying? That was okay. A lot of this, you know, came from the people that they created these ties, these soul ties through these relationships, right? So that's what a lot of the restrictions, you know, and the mental illness comes from as well. That's what I just heard. And another thing about the sacral chakra, is located on the sexual organs. It manages creativity, sexuality, and our connection to feminine power and wisdom. What did I say about that lack of transformation? And understand that the sacral space, the womb space for women, is considered the second brain. The gut instinct is considered the second brain. So once again, it's all interconnected. That's why we have crown, creativity, and sacral chakra come out together. And that lack of transformation. This is something that was passed down generationally. This is a generational pattern in these women, and that's what we're seeing. You know, that it's like these organizations are manifestations of, you know, unhealed and unbalanced, like, generational patterns being passed down through the matriarch. Clarify sacral chakra and ancestor support. So, this is what I heard. So, we have fire magic come out. Think about fire. Consider fire, right, in itself. Whether you want to, you know, think about the sun, or you want to think about how, you know, like old heads, you know, they'll burn something or burn, you know, the land or whatever in order for the grass to grow back better. You know, that transformation process. So, once again, that lack of transformation. Solar plexus, sacral chakra. So, yeah. That lack of transformation. Clarify fire magic. Clarify fire magic. Oh my God. We got finances, co-worker, and boss. Clarify. Okay. Yeah. So allowing money to to sway them, and basically it's like what we see today, how, you know, money talk, right? Money talk. So willing to do anything for abundance, right? For that. That's crazy. Even at the cost of your legacy. Clarify finances. Yeah, so a lack of healing, mental health. Let's get deeper into this. Clarify water therapy. Clarify water therapy. Spirit, yeah. And then we got tears again. So what I said, lack of healing. Because even in this water therapy card, it talks about how if used, you know, correctly and, you know, for healing, like, intended purposes, utilizing water therapy can remove deep-rooted debris and seal rips and tears within the energy field, a powerful practice that spans centuries. So these people, you know, these women are of, you know, those women who misuse and abuse their sexual and emotional energy for control and power and material wealth. And yeah, material wealth with finances here. So they were willing to, you know, like I said, that lack of transformation, pass this down generations to generations of women for the purposes of material wealth. All attacks are spiritual. However, some go above and beyond, attempting to create blockages and delays, or a full-out attack to kill and destroy. This means that several mechanisms are being used and multiple parties as well. All these chapters, all these women from different walks of life, you have no idea. You have no idea their generational history, their ancestral past, the generational curses and toxic patterns associated with these women. But yet, all in all, we see these manifestations of these girls after they cross, the ambiance of, you know, what they radiate, that dark energy that they radiate, that energy of vanity and being materialistic and so external and superficial. This card can also indicate a need for astral projection and higher level tools for advancement. Yeah, they were not using, they abused the elements. They abused these tools to their advantage. Like I said, for selfish gain. They didn't utilize them correctly because that lack of intuition. Understand the sacral chakra is also the seat of intuition. So if you're emotionally imbalanced, if you lack transformation, you know, within that your creative power and stuff like that, that means that's going to also spill into your intuition. Heart. The heart chakra is located on the heart organ, which is also a secretor of hormones. It is the gateway to the seat of power in the spiritual realm in order to alter conditions in the material realm. Imbalance and symptoms of an imbalanced heart chakra. Oh, wow. On the bottom of the deck while I'm reading this. Coven and groups. Imbalance and empathy ranging from enmeshment to apathy. Inability to respond properly to emotional displays. My goodness. Clarify relationships. Clarify relationships. So that lack of inner reflection and just constantly staying so surface and just, you know, keeping their focus on things that are outside of them. And that lack of introspection. So mirroring, okay, yeah, okay. Clarify mirror. Clarify mirror. Wow. Are you serious? And sound? So mirroring that lack of sound judgment as a result of mental illness. Y'all, mental health, this is from 2 different decks, and mental health came out twice. Mental health, this is from the ancestral healing deck. Mental health, this is from the spiritual warfare deck. You cannot make this shit up. So once again, in the video that I posted yesterday, it's like they search out particular types of individuals, you know, light beings or people, you know, that have like certain abilities and powers or whatever, especially like I said, women who can sing, right? To abuse that energy because it's something, it's the potency of that energy, right? For their own selfish gain, you know, as a result of mental illness. These cores, like it's a lot of people here. It's a lot of people here. Now, I already saw covens and groups. We got practitioner again. This is, and we also had the pineal gland, the third eye. Yeah, so this lack of spiritual transformation. These people were very stuck like in the 3D. Root chakra. You cannot make this shit up. Imbalance and consumption. Back issues, materialism, scarcity mentality, financial instability, and stagnation. The root chakra is our connection to the earth and manages feelings and efforts related to safety, survival, and physical pleasures. This is crazy. All right. Clarify mental health and mirror. Clarify mental health and mirror. Oh my goodness. Whoa, they really exposing these people. I really hope, you know, people stay through this entire video, or at least like watch, pause, come back to finish the rest, because this is like really, this is like an in-depth analysis. Like, we're really getting deep here. We're really getting deep here. We have the root chakra come out again to clarify mental health and mirror. These people are okay, because we're talking about Ethel here. So Miss Ethel, it seems that she's courted herself via relationships, maybe even family involved here. Courted to individuals who had a scarcity mentality, right? Who were, you know, overly focused, who were willing to do anything for money. That's what I heard. Like I said, and also an imbalance in consumption. So we got greed here. I just heard greed. Clarify holes and entity attachments. Clarify holes and entity attachments. Clarify adaptability. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we have adaptability, spirituality, and grandfather, which is, you know, they really mostly, oh wow, we have mother too. Whew. So this was not also like, this was imbalances in both energy. So imbalanced masculine and feminine energy. Obviously, right? Because this is like really talking about the matriarch. So grandfather represents the patriarch order, masculine dominance, and rites of passage involving the passing down of traditions regarding leadership. Yeah, so these people were willing to create. Yeah, she basically passing down. She was being used. I just heard that too. Oh wow! I just heard it's kind of like a like a surge of energy, basically, like creating this surge of energy through these women, you know, who lack intuition and discernment and who are emotionally unstable and easily manipulated into giving their power away for abundance. So that I just heard shit. Sex and intimacy. Okay. Okay. Oh my God. This is crazy. Oh my. Sex and intimacy, children, and legacy again. Passing this down. Like, this is really like generational curses here. That's what I heard. Generational curses. Because we got the Father card underneath that with courage. So lack of courage to speak truth, to stand in truth and integrity. Yeah, because of that lack of healing and trauma transmutation. Okay. Wow. Let's see. When I split the deck, we got the Star card and King of Pentacles. So seeing this as an opportunity for material wealth. And that's it. Like I said, purposely, you know, trying to attract light beings, you know, through glitz and glamour and beauty, right? Because we understand the deception in that. For financial reasons. To steal and harvest their abundant energy. The abundance and the prosperity attached to their ancestry. You get what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be. But targeting these individuals. Just so, you know, just for attention and like I said, material wealth. Motherfuckers can say whatever they want. Oh, she reaching, da 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 da. You see what the hell cards on this table. If I'm so card reaching, why the hell would entity attachments come out? Why would hoes come out? Why would spirit come out? You get what I'm saying? Why would all this mental illness from these relationships and these why would it come out? Why would root chakra come out twice? Why would sacral chakra come out twice? Because I just noticed that sacral chakra is out here twice from 2 different decks. Sacral chakra, sacral chakra, root chakra, root chakra, crown chakra, mental health, mental health. You cannot make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. Clarify root chakra. Clarify Page of Cups. Clarify Page of Cups. What's the Page of Cups as it relates to the root chakra? Oh my goodness. We got the 7 of Pentacles. So, yeah. Opportunity. Okay. I just heard reliance. I just heard codependency on love situations in hopes of, you know, abundance and not focusing on. So, yeah. So, ignoring. You see how she's focused on this one plant, but she's ignoring that plant behind her that also has pentacles and also can grow and manifest if she was to just actually notice it and, you know, nurture it. But she's focused on, you know, this plant in front of her. Clarify 7 of Pentacles. Clarify Ten of Swords, everything is fine. What's the Ten of Swords, everything is fine? What's everything is fine? What's everything is fine? Oh my God. Yeah, y'all. So, like I said, that lack of transformation, that lack of trauma transmutation, and that lack of healing. So being overly focused on one thing. Once again, that imbalance. Imbalance in consumption. Materialism. Scarcity mentality. Stagnation. Financial instability.